It's time for another faculty spotlight at the South Campus once again with Bernabe Gutierrez. Mr. Gutierrez, how are you?
Good.
I was told I could call you BG, is that right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Are you a fan of the Bee Gees?
Nah, not so much.
No disco, no disco
No.
music?
I like the punk more.
Thanks for your time, for joining me. How long have you been at Laredo College?
About 17 years.
Wow. Always at the South, or you were at the older campus? Or?
Primarily out of the South, that's where my office is at. But
Okay.
I floated in the beginning for the first year or so, but pretty much South Campus since.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the South Campus?
I love the South. I'm not from the South, I'm from Central Laredo, but I've worked here so long. I drive here every day. I feel like I'm part of this community, so I dig it. The close knit family that we are, and our students. It's serving students from LBJ and the other South.
Yeah.
It's in Seattle. It's really nice to give them the opportunity to come to college close to their home instead of driving a few miles away.
Yeah.
So
What do you
it's really
teach?
nice. English.
Your whole time English?
Yeah, primarily American Lit with comp. A
Yeah.
few sections of comp.
When did your teaching career begin?
2003. Got my master's in 2000, but I still working at a pharmacy at that time. I didn't use it. And 2003, TAMU called. They needed a sub for the last 2 weeks of the semester, and I did that. And then they asked if I wanted to continue, so I got my foot in the door.
So you started at TAMU?
TAMU.
You had done no teaching before that?
No.
None whatsoever?
None whatsoever. So
That was not on your radar? Teaching was not on your radar?
it was. That's totally on my radar. I was originally a pharmacy major.
Okay.
It was a total accident. Since I was in 8th grade, I wanted to be a pharmacist. And
Where'd that come from?
Fred Anise, he passed away this past year. He was a local pharmacist.
Sure.
And he went to our 8th grade class and career day. And he spoke to us, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then my family, all my siblings worked at a local pharmacy in town, so I was always aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 15, I started working at that pharmacy. And that's all I did from 15 through grad school. Beyond grad school, I worked at a pharmacy. But anyway, so my sophomore year of college at LCC, pre-pharmacy, taking all the curriculum, I took American Lit with Dr. Tom Mitchell, and just changed my life.
That's a pretty big shift.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I tell him, I haven't seen him recently, but I remind him that because of him, I'm not making 6 figures.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Doc.
But yeah, I'm so glad I did that because it just changed my life.
What did you like about being in the pharmacy?
Oh God, I still keep my foot in it. I still keep up with meds and stuff. I just loved the science of it. I've always been a math guy and a science guy.
Okay.
That's what I was initially. If you ask me what my strongest subject is, it's probably math. But
How does math play into pharmaceuticals?
well, conversions. Sometimes you have to do. You make. Certain meds, and you have to do compounds and stuff.
Yeah.
That's more the pharmacist.
Right.
But as a tech, you would help, and you'd watch. But it was fun. I loved it. I still love it. But I can't see. I'm so glad I changed majors.
Well, that's interesting. And so when you decided American literature was your thing, at that point, did you know you wanted to teach it, or did you just want to learn more about it?
I knew that semester. That semester. See, the next semester I was taking off to UT. I was already continuing. I had a few more classes left of the pre-pharmacy curriculum. And
You just dropped it.
I just totally dropped it. And I knew it that semester. I was like, I want to teach this, and I want to teach it here. Now, here, back then, was just
Right.
Fort Mac. So I went off to UT because I had already paid for the apartment. I paid for the tuition. So I did go off, but I knew I wasn't going to do the pharmacy thing.
And you were going to UT for the pharmacy.
I was going to UT for the pharmacy.
Did you then switch your major to UT?
I was paying for college. I didn't have scholarships or anything,
Yeah.
so it made sense for me to come back. So I came back the fall of '96, and I finished the bachelor's, and right away jumped into the master's. And as fate would have it, Tom Mitchell went to TAMU that same
That's great.
fall. So I was able to get him as my thesis mentor, and I worked alongside him, and then I eventually taught this item. So that was pretty amazing.
I know it's going to be obvious to some, to me not necessarily. What is American literature?
Well, I mean, technically, the one I teach primarily, it covers from it's literature from the period of exploration through the Civil War, and that's 1492 to 1865. But I focus mainly on true American literature, so post-revolution.
Okay.
And really, it's a good 46 years, 1819, 1865, that I really focus on. But that's everybody. I mean, everybody who's everybody in American Lit is from that era.
It's not a class that students have to take, is it?
Not everyone. It depends on your major. For most four-year degrees, you need 2 comps and a lit or philosophy. So we do have that option here at LC. There is a philosophy professor, but most students will take a lit class.
Is it getting harder to teach American literature because it requires a lot of reading?
Mm-hmm.
Is that getting harder?
It's not harder to teach it. That's the best part of my job. Is it's not even a job. The best part of what I do is the lectures. In lit, I love lecturing for the hour on Poe or Hawthorne or Emerson. Harder in the sense of connecting with students. The older you get, the more disconnect you have.
You used to be hip at one point.
I used to be there, like close to their age. Yeah, so I back in the day it was like, oh, don't call me Mr. Gutierrez, call me BG.
Yeah.
Now it's like, call me Mr. Gutierrez. But it's harder in that sense. We're different totally different generations, 2 different generations, and my pop culture references don't work anymore with them. But post-COVID, students changed as well. We all changed.
Yeah.
COVID really changed. I changed my teaching style.
How so?
Post-COVID. Pre-COVID, I was more of a Socratic method. I'd ask a question, and then from there we'd go off on tangents. But for that to work, every student had to read before a class, and that would get it gets hard because sometimes students just, for whatever reason, didn't read that day.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't work. The lesson wouldn't work. The lecture wouldn't work. So COVID taught me to maybe do a little bit more of a lecture style, but at the same time, asking the questions that are more open-ended.
So your style changed.
My teaching style totally changed. Yeah.
Are students still interested in reading?
I think so. Are they interested in what I teach? That's different. I mean, it's a very specific group of authors that I teach, and I do try to choose things that they'd enjoy. But yeah, they do read. But a lot of the stuff they read, I'm like, I'm not a fan of. But hey, I just want them to read.
Yeah, exactly.
So as long as they read, I'm good.
Describe the typical Laredo College student.
Respectful. First of all, that's Laredo. Our students tend to respect us, and they're good. They're hardworking. They show up. They're there. They're paying attention. They're putting a lot of effort. And to me, effort really, really counts. Meet me halfway, and I'll work with you.
Yeah.
But no, I love LC. I love our students. I was one of them.
But I find it fascinating that earlier you said when you decided you wanted to teach, here. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Why?
Dr. Mitchell, man, he was great. And
that's pretty specific. You could have said, I want to teach American Lit. It doesn't really matter where.
Yeah, no.
But you just wanted to come
and when
out.
I said here, I meant main campus. I meant Fort Max.
Right.
Obviously, we didn't have anything else. So when I got hired, you asked me earlier about the South Campus, and when I got hired, they asked me, what campus do you want? And I was like, well, I prefer Maine, because that's all I knew, and that's what I wanted, but obviously I was open to anywhere, and then that they sent me here. But yeah, it's just, I can't explain it. And it was just an awakening. It was just an aha moment, and yeah, it's just, I'm so glad I took that class with him.
And initially, did you have to work at a pharmacy before you got the job with TAMU?
I was working at the pharmacy from 15 to 27, through from high school through grad school, beyond grad school. So I happened to leave the pharmacy, and I was just kind of gonna see what happens. I was just like, waiting, and luckily, the chair from TAMU found out that I was available. She needed a sub, and that was it.
As a sub, do you get to full on teach?
It was the last 2 weeks of the semester, of that semester, and I initially was just grading her last batch of papers, and I was then asked to take over the classes for the spring. So in that case, I started from scratch. I was able to actually teach.
What was that like? Do you remember your first time?
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. I apologize. One of my colleagues was a student.
Okay.
And I apologized to him regularly because I did not know what I was doing. And yeah, because you don't learn how to teach college. And so I was just trying to emulate my professors. I was trying my best to make it work. And yeah, the first few years, I wasn't very good.
No.
The students loved me because we finished early. We'd always end class really, really quickly. So they dug me, but I knew I needed to get better.
How long before you felt, all right, I got the hang?
I joke around. That's funny because I was just talking to my colleague about that. We have a new colleague in our department, this young man, and I told him, hey, don't worry about it. It took me around 8 years. And it's kind of funny, haha. I mean, obviously, I felt more confident sooner than that, but I think by year 8, I was like, all right, I got this. I think I'm good enough. I think I know my stuff. But nah, it takes a few years. Man.
Sure.
It's just part of the experience, and once you find what works, you got to improve it. You got to work on it. You got to read more. You got to, the more you read, the more you'll learn, the more you can share with your students.
You never gave thought to teaching at the high school level?
I that's the hardest. I admire the teachers in the public schools, not public schools, but K through 12. What they do is extremely difficult, and I admire them greatly because I cannot do that. They're the ones who deserve recognition because what they do is amazing. So yeah, no, that
Never on your radar.
no.
I've sort of touched on this with most of the other faculty, I think. Let's talk about AI and how is it affecting what you're doing right now?
English, man. I think it affects us as much, if not more, than others because we're the essay. And in the beginning, still now, it's not as smart as people think it is. But it's getting there.
Yeah.
And it's scary because we have deterrents. We have, Turnitin software that checks for AI, but, the more you feed it, the more it's going to learn. And soon it's going to be just part of our academic life.
Took me a while to realize that it's all about the prompt.
Yeah, no, true.
It's what you ask it.
My prompts are original.
Yeah.
But it's getting smarter.
A little scary, isn't it?
Yeah. In composition, I'm able to deter it because I do give them a lot of class time.
Okay.
So we are able to kind of write the paper in class over a few, a couple weeks. In literature, though, it's pretty much honor code. But I trust our students. Our students give me honest work.
Have you always asked them to write in class, or is that a product of
composition? Composition, I always gave them class time to work on the paper. Now I'm kind of like, don't do anything at home. I'm kind of like, there's plenty of time. Don't do anything at home.
Sure.
And it's working so far.
Yeah. What do you do on your free time?
Oh, today's opening day, so.
Oh, this is true.
Happy opening day.
Yeah, happy opening day.
So it's a great day for me.
What are you a fan of?
Cleveland.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Oh no, it hurts.
Yeah.
Because I've had my heart broken a couple of times since I've been a fan. But we never get respect.
Yeah.
We made it to the ALCS last year, and we're still predicted to finish 4th.
That's nice.
It's terrible.
Yeah. What time do they play today?
3:00. Yeah, so I'll be racing home after my last class.
Yeah. Have you been to an Indians game?
Every
Oh, they're not the Indians.
Guardians.
anymore, my bad. Yeah, sorry.
I still represent.
Yeah.
Every May, I go to Cleveland
Oh,
and
cool.
I watch hopefully a full series, if not at least one or two games.
So baseball. What else?
Baseball, music, not playing, watching, listening.
What kind of music do you like?
Depends on the mood.
Yeah. I've heard that.
I'm not going to say everything because it's not everything, but I guess primary genre would be hard rock, heavy metal, Metallica. But I also do the California punk.
What would be considered California punk?
California punk, Bad Religion, Pennywise,
Okay.
Suicidal Tendencies.
You mentioned movies. Do you have a favorite movie? Favorite franchise?
I tell my students about this. I joke around with them when I do my feminist lecture. The go-to answer would be Godfather Part 2. But I love Notting Hill, man. 1999, Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great movie. So probably Notting Hill.
So you favorite Godfather 2 over the first?
Yeah, and I'm okay with Godfather 3. It gets a lot of
Bad around.
yeah, but I think it gives closure. I dig it. But Godfather 1, obviously, but Godfather 2, man, that's...
I had this conversation with somebody else. Godfather 2 won more awards, did it not?
Yeah, Robert De Niro, I believe it won for Best Picture. And it's just amazing. I mean, the acting, the story, the whole Fredo thing.
It's the one movie series that if it's on TV, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Regardless, even if I've
Always.
seen
Same thing with Notting Hill.
it. I need to check that out. Do you watch any series? Or are you into any
Oh
series?
yeah, I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
It's my escape.
Yeah.
Right now I do the whole Daredevil, the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
I
It's
do-
pretty good. I've been watching it.
It's really neat. I'm glad they brought it back. I'm really excited about Wolf Hall, PBS. I'm a PBS nerd. It took 10 years for season 2 to come out. So it started on Sunday, so I'm going to start watching that this weekend. But yeah, I do the reality stuff. Well, the cooking. Anything with Ramsay. Master Chef, Hell's Kitchen.
Do you cook a lot yourself?
Nah, that's not like them. I'm more of a crock pot guy.
Leave it in the morning, come back at night,
you
that
know,
kind of
10-hour thing.
I get you.
That works.
Final question. Somebody gets their schedule, they see Bernabe Gutierrez on there. What should they expect, or what do you want to tell them?
I'm a laid back professor. I get to know my students. I make the effort every semester to learn their names, and because I like to get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
I do stall a few minutes before we start, and we just talk. And pick their brains, and I don't know. I think they say chill guy, but I am serious when it comes to my discipline, and I think they enjoy it for the most part.
Sounds good. BG, been good talking to you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.